Hello, this video is about corporate corruption and theft by the mobile phone network called Free. The mobile phone network Free has used the Direct Debit banking system to literally steal 5 years worth. I'll say that again. 5 years worth of payments from me, and they have refused to pay that back, only offering to pay a nominal amount. They're crooks. Free have stolen 5 years of payments from me. 5 years of payments they continued taking out of my bank account via direct debit for 5 years after I cancelled my account with them and moved on to another mobile phone provider, service provider. I moved from Free to PlusNet. I moved from a contract with Free to, like a 2 yearly contract with Free. From that, which expired, to a SIM-only monthly contract with PlusNet, which was much better for me. I phoned Free. I told them clearly that I was cancelling, and they knew it because they sent me a text stating, "Sorry that you're leaving. Sorry to hear you're leaving." And not only that, but they spent hours on the phone trying to convince me to stay with offers. This is how Free do. When you want to leave them, they try not to let you leave. They pass you on to a marketing staff who keep you on the phone for hours trying to convince you to stay with offers. They're so bad that there was one time that I wanted to leave Free, that to avoid their phone harassment, I avoided cancelling over the phone, that time announcing over the phone, and I sent a letter to one of their offices in Scotland. So I put it in writing. That's to avoid telling them on the phone and then passing me on to someone else to keep me on the phone for hours. That's how Free are. And that particular time, that's what they did. They weren't able to offer me anything better than the deal that I had found. What the best they offered me would tie me into another 2-year contract. That's how Free like doing, tying you into to contracts. So that that staff, he finally gave up after keeping me on the phone for well over an hour, and he admitted that they weren't offering any deal better, any better deal. He admitted that. and I left them. I removed their SIM from my phone and put in the PlusNet. Little did I know they were continuing to take money from my account. It was £7 per month, and I only realized that in March last year, which is 2022. Part of the problem was that I had another account with them, which I set up maybe about a year after I left Free, and that was for something different. That was for a mobile broadband SIM, so that I could get mobile internet. That was nothing to do with what I cancelled, but sometimes when I saw payments on my bank account, I would think that this is the one I'm on now, you know. But when I finally realized and contacted them, that's when they told me. During those 5 years, they never sent me any bills. They never sent me any text informing me that they were about to take direct debit out of my account. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what PlusNet do. That's what they're supposed to do. They never sent me any bills. They never sent me any sign from them that they were continuing to take money out of my account. So if you are with Free, I would advise you to leave Free as soon as possible. And when you leave them, make sure you cancel your direct debit. Make sure you cancel your direct debit with Free. Make sure you do it, because they won't stop, even if they give you the impression over the phone that they will. Even if they send you text telling you they acknowledge you're leaving them. If you have a banking app, it's easy to cancel direct debits without having to phone your bank, because the banks, they can be awkward. They can be telling you, they could do it for you, but they'll tell you, oh, make sure you tell the company, you know. I found that direct debit is a scam. I found that direct debit is a scam, and anyone using direct debit is extremely vulnerable, because direct debit is there to suit the banks and the company that the banks take money out of your account for. It's not a service for the public. It's not a service for the consumer. It's a service for the corporations, for the companies, carried out by the banks, because the banks are very corrupt in this. Because I'm going to do a video after this explaining that Santander refused to give me back the money stolen by Free. They refused to give me back that money. when I informed them what Free had done, they refused. They refused first, and I'll make another video about that later, but they refused. Direct debit is a scam. And another way Free have used direct debit to steal people's money is they encourage people to use direct debit. They encourage people to use direct debit by giving us a £5 per month discount, they call it, if we pay by direct debit. And not only that, they also set up the system so that we're not receiving paper bills. They tell you it's £1.50 extra, £1.50 to £2 extra if you don't choose not to receive paper bills. And those two things enable Free to use direct debit to scam people. What they've done to me, they've done to many. I've heard of others they've done this to. Even the staff I spoke to suggested that it was done to others. When I phoned them up to query this, that was when they admitted 5 years later that the account that I closed with them, I left them and went to another company. How clearer can it be than that? I took their SIM out of my phone. I received a text from them telling me they were sorry I was leaving. After 5 years, they finally admit the account is still open. And I was instantly shocked and instantly angry, and I instantly demanded my money back. I said, I want that money back. The woman that spoke to me didn't say, oh, okay, yeah, of course. She said, I'll pass you on to the complaints department, who then started telling me, oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. Really? You've been taking money out of my account for 5 years after I cancelled with you, and there's nothing you can do. Please leave Free as soon as you can. If you're still with them, I would advise you to stop paying by direct debit. You can't trust Free with direct debits. If you're still paying by direct debit, I advise you to keep an eye on your direct debits every month. And especially when you leave Free, and when you leave them, they will try their hardest to get you to stay. They'll try their hardest to tie you down to another contract. I'm warning you now. If you leave Free, as soon as you've informed them that you're leaving them, I advise you to get on your banking app or get on your online banking and immediately cancel that direct debit. You cancel it. Don't trust them to do it at all. Don't trust them to do it. They are crooks. This one, he told me there's nothing I can do. Absolute bollocks, to be honest. Absolute bollocks. So I was on the phone with him an hour. I was shocked, and eventually he told me he would escalate the matter upwards, and he said he would get back to me in 4 days. I took his name, Sanula, and he said he would get back to me in 4 days. He never got back to me ever. He never got back to me. And I've been on the phone to them several times. I immediately, as soon as I could, maybe the next day, I first contacted Nationwide, before I contacted Santander, because Nationwide was the bank that I had moved to after I had left Santander, because I'd left Santander because Santander felt they had the right to block my account whenever they felt like it. So I first contacted Nationwide, who were good. They told me there was something called Direct Debit Indemnity, which I didn't know about, although I knew about Direct Debit Guarantee. But I phoned Nationwide simply to tell them this is what Free are doing. They're scamming me. They've been taking my money for 5 years after I cancelled with them. They told me that they would investigate, and if they saw something amiss, they would immediately refund my money back to my account, because I'd been with them for about 10 to 11 months. So they had been taking my money out of my account for free for about 10 or 11 months. They told me they would instantly refund my account, and that they would then take up the matter with Free, which is great, and they did that. They were true to their word. I didn't even get back to them straight away. I checked my my banking app maybe a month later or something like that, and I found that they had refunded. So they refund, and then they withdraw the money from Free, because how Direct Debit works is that the bank is the one that draws money out of your account for that company, but they don't pay it directly to Free. They don't pay it directly to Free. They take the money out of your account, hold it in their own account. They then pay Free or whichever other company it is, out of another account. That's how it works. So when they do a direct debit indemnity, they then pay you back. The bank pays you back the money they've taken from you and are holding in their account. Then that account that they have for the company, they take money out of that account and back for themselves. So that's how Nationwide did it. I then phoned Santander, who were not forthcoming. I'm going to do another video separately about Santander. But after messing me about for months, Santander refused to pay me. They refused to pay me. So they made things worse. But three have refused to pay, and it's getting darker now, but I think I'm still visible. It's getting darker, but I think I'm still visible. I'll finish this anyway. Three refused to pay, and after several chasing up with them, they only agreed to pay a fraction of that, as though they were doing me a favor. Three are complete crooks. If you're with three, leave them. That's my recommendation. And if you're paying by direct debit, stop paying by direct debit. I mean, if you stop paying by direct debit, they'll then increase what you're paying by £5, which is all the more reason to leave them. So my suggestion is, as soon as you finish your contract with them, leave them. It's better to send it in writing, so you avoid phone calls, but they may still ask you to call them. But my advice is to leave them, and immediately you've cancelled with them, get on your banking app. The banking app is the easiest way to cancel your direct debit yourself. Cancel it. So that's all, not to keep it too long.